Do you need to moisturize as soon as you wash your face or else it starts feeling like this? Does your skin feel rough and tight no matter the weather or climate? Is your skin flaky and dull looking? If you answered yes to any of the above, you, my friend, have dry skin. Like me. Welcome to the club. Hi beauties, welcome back to another episode of Beauty Within. It's your dry, dehydrated, and epically parched host, Rowena. Today we'll be talking about the best of the best, the cremest of the croppest moisturizers for dry skin. But before we get started, let's do a quick little recap of what is dry skin. Dry skin is mostly caused by genetics and is defined as lacking natural oils or moisture. People with dry skin tend to produce less sebum or oils compared to people with normal skin and of course people with oily skin. When it comes to the difference between dry and dehydrated skin, dry skin lacks oil while dehydrated skin lacks water. So dehydrated skin is a skin condition while dry skin is a skin type. So when it comes to moisturizers for dry and dehydrated skin, it's all about trapping moisture into seal, build, and protect the skin to prevent transepidermal water loss or water from evaporating. I always have to moisturize, and I think this is something you guys can relate with if you do have really dry skin. Because our skin doesn't produce as much oils, we are not as prone to breakouts or enlarged pores unless you have combo skin, which I kind of do, so it's kind of there anyway. But people with dry skin are more prone to skin irritations due to the damaged skin barrier, as well as fine lines and wrinkles developing a bit earlier because our skin is naturally dry and we don't have that natural lubricant from the sebums and from the oils that our face produce. And you know, I think this is the way of the universe being fair. You can't have the best of all worlds. Before we get to the holy grails, I want to share 3 different types of moisturizers as well as ingredients within these 3 categories that are really great for people with dry and dehydrated, parched skin. The first one is humectants. There's ingredients like glycerin, hyaluronic acid, aloe, honey, panthenol, many things that are really great for attracting moisture to the skin. There's also emollients like squalane, jojoba oil, and vitamin E that really help to soften and smooth out the skin. And the last category would be occlusives, including shea butter, dimethicone, and lanolin to prevent water loss from the epidermis. In short, all 3 types of moisturizers are really important and imperative for people with dry skin. You can think of the 3 working beautifully to deliver hydration, soften the skin, and seal in all the hydration and moisture so that none of it is evaporated and leaves the skin. When you are looking for moisturizers, opt for ones that are thick, creamy, or whipped in texture, as opposed to gel moisturizers that pair well with people who have acne and oily prone skin. It's better to look for something that's a bit more dense, like my favorite type of cake donuts, and have added ingredients like plant, seed, or botanical oils, as well as ceramides, omega fatty acids, just for that extra nourishing TLC for your already very dry and screaming for help skin barrier. A few ingredients to be careful of and maybe stay a little bit further away from for people with dry skin is kaolin clay, charcoal, high levels of BHA, tea tree, as well as witch hazel. These ingredients, especially the latter 2, are more astringent and more stripping. So if your skin already doesn't have too much oils and you use something that's even more stripping of the oils, you will just be left with a very overstripped and even more dry face. So with all of that, let's get started with holy grails for dry skin. Da, 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 da. The first thing I want to talk about, this brand, Puredo, I love. This moisturizer, I love. Purito, we've talked about this brand for a few years now. I just want to share again what the name means. It's a combination of purity and chuu, or dirt or soil in Chinese. Purify natural ingredients to create safe and clean products, chuu or soil, to go back to basics to strengthen and repair collapsed skin barriers. So we're all about strengthening and repairing skin barriers. So the fact that it's everything that this brand stands for, as well as their commitment to sustainability, their commitment to sourcing the highest ingredients that are handpicked, that are the safest for your skin, just We love that. So this specific cream is the Deep Sea Pure Water Cream. It's something that I momentarily forgot about. The only reason why I forgot about this is because in New York, it gets really, really cold and dry in the winter months, and then it starts getting really hot and humid. So I always switch out my skincare, and this was something that I switched out for thicker creams that I'll talk about a little bit later. So in here, there's 60% deep sea water. Deep sea water's molecular composition is a lot more similar to the fluids of our body, which allows our body to absorb better, and deep sea water in general is just a much more moisturizing type of water than regular purified water. There's also 2% niacinamide, which we know is really, really amazing for all skin types. Superstar ingredient, something that I think I've been a lot more into recently with the Venn all-in-one vitamin B cream. Niacinamide also helps the skin stimulate collagen production as well as ceramides, which you know is really great for a skin barrier. The first night I put this on, the second day I woke up with just like a lit from within, glowing, brightened complexion. That's like an even out brightened complexion. I don't think it will help with something with freckling as much as I want it to, but it's just like an overall brightening of the complexion. And they also have a sea buckthorn Vital 70 cream that's made with 70% sea buckthorn, and this is great for brightening, and a very soothing, calming, great for skin barrier. That's the Centella Green Level Recovery Cream. All three of these I highly recommend, but if there's one that you must try, or that I strongly recommend that you guys try, is the Deep Sea Water Cream. It is so amazing. Purito, I love you. Next is another oldie but goodie. This is the Make Prem Hydrate Me Micro Tension Cream. It's a very fluffy and rich yet light gel cream. I know it's like very contradicting words. It's rich in a way that it's filled with botanical oils, but because the texture is like a gel cream, it's a lot more cooling, it's a lot more soothing. It's kind of like silk on your face, just this moisturizer really gives you that dewy glass skin, my skin but better look right after you use it, which is one reason why I really, really love this. So in here, along with the blend of botanical oils, there's also ceramides, which both work to strengthen the skin barrier and help prevent water from evaporating. There's also the micro trans moisture technology, which is why it's called the micro tension cream, which allows hydration to penetrate deeper into the skin, making skin appear more elastic and plump. And it's probably one of those more proprietary type ingredients that the skincare brand has discovered or like has put into their formulations to use. So one small call out, there is a more of a medicinal smell because there are a lot of herbs, including olive, rosemary, and lavender. So if you're more sensitive to scents, then maybe try if you can find it somewhere or get a sample before you invest in the full size. But I would say this is one of my favorites of all time, especially for winter months. All right, next, let's talk about the Lagoon Cellus Deep Moisture Cream. This is a bit of a newer addition into the moisturizer lineup, but it's something that I've talked about a good amount on this channel. This is a rich and thick cream. Though it is a pretty dense cream, it still manages to be pretty lightweight, and it absolutely lives up to its name of a deep moisture cream. It is very deep and it is very moisture. So let me just show you guys. Even though it is a little bit on the thicker side, it's still very easily absorbable and easily blendable. In here, there is that patented Nobel Prize winning ingredient, the Dermaflex. This ingredient supposedly helps plump up even the most dehydrated skin cells and gives it a boost of hydration at a cellular level, so that, like we talked about the green grape earlier, if your green grape is turning into a raisin, it'll help it turn into green grape again. This is an analogy that I'm making up. It might not be true, but let's just, I think for visual sake, that's how it helps me visualize something like this happening, so let's just go with that for now. There's also humectants like trehalose and panthenol for extra hydrating properties. There's also a beautiful blend of oils that are high in omega fatty acids, which are really, really great for that extra nourishment of your skin as like that emollient to help soothe out and to help soften your skin. There is one thing to call out, because there are a blend of botanical oils, including lemon peel oil, bergamot, mandarin, and orange. It may be potentially irritating for people with more sensitive skin, so that's just something that we wanted to share with you guys. And I would say that the scent is more faint than the Make Prem Hydrate Me Micro Tension Cream. So that's just something to keep in mind. Next, let's talk about the Neogen Probiotics Relief Cream. This moisturizer has a yogurt-like texture and has a very faint but sweet kind of like cotton candy grapes scent that I personally really love. There's also 14.3% lactobacilli, which is a type of probiotics and helps with elimination of irritation and redness as well as skin protection. There's also niacinamide as well as hyaluronic acid to help keep our skin nice and hydrated. Whenever I use this moisturizer along with the serum, the Neogen Probiotic Serum, the two paired together makes my skin glow like no other. So this is a newer introduction to my lineup of favorite moisturizers, and I think it'll be amazing for the warmer, more humid months throughout the summer and maybe even into early fall. I would say it's more similar to the Make Prem Micro Tension Cream, even a little bit lighter. So there we have it. Next, let's talk about the Venn Hydrants Aqua Gel, another moisturizer that I'm so glad I was able to reconnect with. This is a 3-in-1 moisturizer. You can use it for your face as a regular moisturizer. You can use it for the contours of your eye. You can use it as an overnight gel cream. You just put a thicker layer on your skin, go to sleep with it, wake up, and you'll be fine. I love using this the most as moisturizer for this time of the year where it's a little hotter, it's a little bit more humid. In here, there's microspheres that contain the Venn thermal spring water as well as lipids that naturally release over time, which gives you that long-lasting hydration. Over time, it's like burst, 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 burst. Burst, 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 burst. So this moisturizer isn't as thick and creamy as some of the other ones that we've mentioned, but I think this is why it's honestly a pretty big surprise to me, the fact that I ended up really liking this. Fel actually tried this, and for her, she couldn't really stand the fragrance, if I have to say so myself. The fragrance is pretty strong, and I believe fragrance is relatively high on the list, but it's something that I'm okay with because it does really hydrate my skin. Okay, next, Dr. Jart Cicapair Cream. Fel mentioned this in her video for acne, oily, dry skin, holy grail favorites. For her, she's using the gel cream. This is the cream, and there is a pretty big difference. The gel cream is significantly lighter compared to this. Like when I compared this to some of these other creams that I have behind me, this is probably one of the thicker ones. It's not the thickest. I think the Real Barrier Extreme Cream is probably the thickest, but this is pretty up there. I'm pretty surprised. So centella as an ingredient, I think it's just an overall superstar ingredient. It's very soothing, it's very calming. It helps strengthen your skin barrier, it helps repair your skin barrier. There's a Jart Balm, which helps strengthen, balance, and improve skin defense against irritation and damage. So the texture of this cream, I would describe it as it's very thick. It's slightly whipped, but not quite, and it's also kind of velvety. It's super moisturizing, and I would even say it's slightly oily. Like when you apply it, some moisturizers leave more of a matte feeling. Matte, not dry, but just a bit more, it's not as like dewy. This definitely has more of a heavy dew. Like this is like a light, refreshing dew. I would say this Venn is also a light, refreshing dew. Same with the Purito. I feel like this is more of a heavier cream. So when I say heavy, I don't want you guys to think like, oh my god, my skin won't be able to breathe. Not like that at all. I just think the texture compared to other creams is definitely a bit thicker, but it is a dream. It absorbs quickly, it absorbs beautifully, it doesn't leave any greasiness or film on your face. I already went through one. It's like almost done. I think there's like a few more squeezes left. I'm gonna squeeze out all of it, and I brought this out just because it looks a bit better. Ding! Next is another oldie-ish but goodie-ish. This is Paula's Choice Omega Plus Complex Moisturizer with chia and flaxseed, which are all very high in omega fatty acids. This moisturizer has that very beautiful whipped texture that's very similar to Drunk Elephant's Lala Retro. That is a cult favorite for people with more dry skin types. And I would say, till this day, discovering this as a dupe for Drunk Elephant's Lala Retro is probably one of my most, it's is one that I'm most proud of. So we went through this in depth in an affordable dupes video in the past that we'll link up here and down below. But just to go over it really quickly, Drunk Elephant Lala Rocho has 6 African oils. There's a ceramide complex, hyaluronic acid, as well as fermented green tea extract. For the Paula's Choice moisturizer, there's the superfood omega fatty acid, which include the chia seed and the flax, which we can say it's similar to the African oils. There's also ceramides, antioxidants, and a blend of plant oils, as well as hyaluronic acid. So I would say the ingredient list is pretty similar. It's not exactly the same, but of the many products that we've duped before, this is like the closest, and the texture is the closest. Omega fatty acids are really great for the skin because it hydrates without feeling heavy. It helps calm redness and sensitivity. It helps with flakiness and also helps to strengthen the skin. So just in general, omega fatty acids, great for dry skin types. Moving on to Fresh Lotus Youth Preserve Dream Face Cream. So there's a little funny story about this that I'll share with you guys. A few weeks ago, I stayed up until 3:30, 4 a.m. to edit and upload a video for my own channel. And when I looked in the mirror, I was shocked. I knew the only prescription was for me to get a solid 18 hours of sleep and that I needed it ASAP. Because I was already a little delirious, I will admit that when I did read this bottle, this very beautiful bottle, it says Super Lotus Night Recovery. I was sold by the night of recovery, so I reached for it. I used it for the first time in a while. I went to sleep without thinking much because I was just so tired. I woke up the next morning, I was like, oh, my skin actually doesn't look that bad. So in here is the whole lotus flower plant. This is why it's called the Super Lotus Night Recovery. And lotus as an ingredient is just amazing. It's super high in antioxidants. It helps to hydrate as well as boost radiance. There's also peach leaf extract that helps to keep skin looking refreshed and less stressed overnight. So this as a cream, the way that it applies, I would say it's definitely more on the matte side. It's not at a matte drying side as I mentioned earlier, but it doesn't give you that K-Beauty dewy glow as some of the other ones will. That being said, very hydrating. It does help with the overnight refresh of your skin like it says, and I would say it also has like a very subtle brightening effect to help you look refreshed, to help you look like you slept a little more than you did. So Fresh is all about that sensorial experience. The jar that it comes in, this beautiful blue glass jar, the fact that there's a bit of fragrance, the fact that it feels a certain way, the texture, the application, how it blends into your skin so nicely, like they care about all of that, but that just means that there is also fragrance in here. And I think it's higher on the list than normal because sometimes fragrance will be at the very bottom. I think it's a bit higher, just something to keep in mind. All right, the very last product is the Real Barrier Extreme Cream, and this cream, friends, lives up to its name. It is extreme and it is a cream. It's like a super dense extreme cream. So this is one of Olive Young's best-selling creams online during the winter of last year, so winter of 2019. And again, I would say when you think of an extreme cream, whatever you have in mind, this is exactly what it is. So it's very thick, it's a highly concentrated cream to help improve skin barrier, and it does deliver very long-lasting moisturization. In here, there's panthenol, which is vitamin B5, which helps soothe and protect skin and is great for your skin barrier. There's also madecassoside, which is a derivative of Centella asiatica that we know is very soothing and calming. I would categorize this cream as a best friend, no frills best friend for the winter if you have really dry, parched skin. The sensorial experience isn't amazing. I think it gets the job done. If you have very dry skin, that's flaky, that's dehydrated, you can use this. But if you're looking for something that applies beautifully, that just glides, that feels like a silk blanket on your face, this might not be it, but I would say it's helpful to have something like this in your skincare arsenal if you have very dry skin. So with all of that, the sun has set. It is getting really dark in here. Thank you guys for watching till the end. Make sure to check out Felicia's oily and acne prone skin favorite moisturizers as well as toners that just came out earlier this week. As for those who have dry and dehydrated skin, if you watched this far, thank you so much. I hope you found a few products that are worth looking into if you're in the market for new moisturizers. And with all of that, keep an eye out for Felicia's Holy Grail for serums, as well as my Holy Grails for toners and serums for dry, dehydrated skin. And with that, thank you guys so much for joining. We'll see you next week. Sunset, sunset. I am so dark. I hope this is okay. Bye.